Najee Harris is still in considerable down low information over his surgical injury, while it's been already confirmed that they are probably moving on to a new running back for the Los Angeles Chargers for further notice around around OTAs and summer training camp. Wow, interesting news. Some off-season signings. Bernard Raymond with a 4-year, $100 million deal. Cortland Sutton from the Denver Broncos as well picked up a big contract worth 4 years, $92 million expansion for probably one of the more consistent receivers in the league. While Arizona Cardinals became a retirement home in just a matter of a couple seconds. Longtime DB Stephen Gilmore. I'm joking. It's Stephen Gilmore. That's Stephon Gilmore. He was undrafted back in the 2023 season. It's picked up a 1-year deal. And somehow the San Francisco 49ers, with continuous secondary issues from the past 3 seasons, we picked up Eli Apple. Eli Apple, folks. Eli Apple. You guys excited for Eli Apple? That hasn't really put up anything impactful since his time on the Giants. He has been floundering around the league, getting into fights, inconsistent. He has barely had half a decade in a franchise. He got waived by the Panthers. He got bought out of his contract with the Saints. You could say that he made a considerable amount of money with the Cincinnati Bengals until he got fined $5,000 after taunting against the Titans, getting himself into poor reads. Coverage being a problem. Then he went on to the Miami Dolphins. Then he went over on the practice squad of the Chargers around October. I don't know if this is a late fix because of the Niners' secondary problems, because I don't feel like this helps at all, because I've seen Eli Apple play since his rookie year. Not really a game-changing signing to have in his 9th season in the NFL. Can't considerably say that he has any existential ability to keep playing at a high level at this stage of his career. So this could just be a practice squad notion to just get the other DBs to compete before the season ends, or they push him off waivers if he can't even hold his weight over as a decent piece on the rotation. Because cut day happens soon. Very soon after the preseason. So I'd be very concerned on what's going to happen. DJ Chark also got signed by the Falcons. We got Ryan Cooper gotten waived by the Dolphins. Garrett Halls Jr. got a new contract with the Green Bay Packers. And shockingly enough, there has been no incriminating evidence on any NFL player for the past 48 hours. So, in general, we got to cut this off as a very boring part of the NFL right now. And we already got Travis Hunter. Yeah, people are already making jokes about Travis Hunter's frame because Derrick Henry's yoked. There's no way he's taking him down. Very curious about how Travis Hunter is still going to produce. Is possibly he'll be predominantly a secondary. What I heard most of. I don't know how much his versatility is going to come in the frame of how he plays on the offensive side. Most legends of the game just consider him just a more reluctant DB that doesn't have the technical footwork to be a wide receiver in the highest level of the game. And we have our Pro Football Hall of Fame candidates being Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, Jason Witten, Frank Gore, Julian Edelman, Greg Olson, LaShawn McCoy, Des Bryant, Maurice Pouncey. If you guys don't remember, he was a reliable defender back on the Pittsburgh Steelers day. Geno Atkins, of course, Steven Gostkowski, one of the most clutch kickers of all time, and then we have Phillip Rivers. Now, usually, ring conversation is going to be possibly always a knockout point to mostly a very stacked list of first ballot All-Pro Hall of Famers. Oh, Des Bryant's also on this list. Ooh, he might have to wait a couple of years. Hell, I'd have Julian Newman out over Larry Fitzgerald just because of the Super Bowl rings. Even though Larry Fitzgerald's probably one of the top 5 greatest wide receivers of all time. And Jason Witten has been one of the most consistent tight ends in Cowboys history. Frank Gore was outstanding, but always silverware is going to play a part. That, of course, Gostkowski even has over most of these guys. Drew Brees has still put up even more All-Pro numbers around his mid 30s, and still made deep playoff runs with underwhelming results. And Hurricane Katrina, and then you win the Super Bowl. The narrative is just going to a point there, whether fans like it or not. So it's kind of a bit obvious who's going to be pushing over in the Hall of Fame. The rest are like, they're great until we get the greater players there. Like, numbers aside, like All-Pro game changers, but not really that impactful, especially over in a narrative suit, to be like, yeah, I got LaShawn McCoy over Drew Brees. Like, no one's going to say that. No one's going to admit that. The only people who do are possibly game changers are, guys that couldn't hack it as all pros, people that only look at the numbers, or people that just LaShawn McCoy. Or Des Bryant, even though I felt like he was one of the best receivers at his time. Got screwed over in Dallas. I will admit to that. I have secondhand embarrassment if Christian McCaffrey finds his way to get injured again. Because patience level for receiving halfbacks near their 30s is possibly the worst thing to happen. And Treylon Burks got waived after injuries. Yikes. That's crazy work. And Raiders legend John Gruden says that he's working hard to get one more chance of coaching in the NFL. I'm about to make a comeback. I'm calling everyone I can because it says they're working hard to get more shots. Looking for a job. I don't care if I coach Jones Junior High. I'm going to coach again. So, John Gruden has a possibility of finding back an opportunity in the coaching staff of, I guess, any NFL franchise, or he's trying to get himself back in pushing college. Because Gruden has been a reputable coach, but his play style has shown that he's really against the grain of his predictable reads, especially from under the center. And he's gotten mediocre records over his last couple of years when he came back to coach the Raiders. So, John Gruden, I don't even know if they're moving past any of that. Because the Gruden grinding was not it, even when you were coaching. Dallas Cowboys would possibly even sign you out of desperation just because, oh my god, you won a Super Bowl? When? When I could barely talk? That's crazy. That's an interesting way to go about it. Raiders legend. I don't think you even won a Super Bowl with the Raiders that time. Wasn't it the Buccaneers? After the Raiders fired him? Also, is Russell Wilson the top 15 quarterback of all time? Uh, we might possibly know soon. Right now, we already have conversations rushing into development that head coach Ben Johnson of the Chicago Bears is already going to possibly win Coach of the Year because of the turnaround the offseason had with the Chicago Bears. If you guys can somehow push 10 wins, 11 wins in a tough division like the NFC North, because the Bears are shown to be a somewhat competitive team with a lack of IQ last season with their head coach. And if they just stick over to a very simplistic play style, keep the pass blocking the highest level they can somewhat make a postseason push. Knowing how wide open wild card positions are in the NFC there. But Ben Johnson, I doubt that he'll win Coach of the Year. I doubt that. Even if the Bears pick up a overall exceptional regular season performance. So if I was a Bears fan, I'd just keep my expectation low, see how you guys could try to compete. Especially when the Packers have already done more with less. Even after getting rid of Jair Alexander, and they're possibly still going to be favored as the second or number one team in the NFC North after getting rid of their All-Pros DB, and the Detroit Lions have literally culture shocked their whole division, showing that their regular seasons are probably going to be the highlight show of the season. And Chicago needs to possibly game plan to how they're even going to be competing around that level. Besides that, that's all I got to cover. That's it for me over in the DC Show. Like, comment, subscribe for everything. You guys are enjoying this off season or your summer? Tell me down in the comment section below. I'm going to be watching some good TV shows.